Hey everybody, thank you for joining the channel. Today I'm going to be putting together what I think is the best bow for 2025. So stick around so we can build this bow together. This is the bow that I use for the 2024 hunting season. This is the Alpha X30. This bow is great. I killed a huge deer last year with this bow. The setup I'm using is Spot Hog XL. I changed out the 3-pin triple stack and put on a UV slider scope, ultra view. I got the quad MX2 arrow rest, and I changed out the bowstrings on this, and I put on gas Freak Show bowstrings using a Raptor Peep. I'm running Rip XVs. They're 27 and 3/4 inch long. I used the Quad X, tried out the Quad X fletchings from Flex and Fletch, and this bow was great. The stabilizers on here are Antler Ridge XL. I got the 12-inch in the front, 10-inch in the back, and I purchased the bipods for this Hoyt bipods. I got the AOT stabilizer mount for the release, and I'm using the Carter Wise Choice 24. And this thing was phenomenal. But this year, I want to use a longer axle to axle, so I decided to buy the Darton Sequel 35 ST2. So if you stick around, we'll go ahead and put that thing together and see how it turns out. This is my Darton Sequel 35 ST2. I got this from Podium Archery. Hope this is the right color. I hadn't seen what they sent me yet, but I ordered the black one, so hopefully it's right, so I won't have to send it back to them. But shout out to Podium Archery. Great help, MFJJ. I've been watching you for a while. Shout out to MFJJ. Let's get this thing open. Got my handy dandy Tractor Supply knife. Let's see how sharp it is. Oh yeah, cutting like butter. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, look like they got the color right. Oh, so I don't have to send it back and do any complaints. All right, let's see what we got here. This thing feels really light. It's such a long bow. Put that down, got the book. Like some mods in here, Darton sticker I can put on my desk. Some little whatnots. Let's see what we got here. Pull this off, set it down. What's funny is they send you this bow, and Darton said they really didn't tell what type of strings they put on here, so nobody really knows, but they have their logo on it. But truthfully, it looks exactly like the Freak Show bowstrings to me. I mean, exactly like the Freak Show bowstrings. So I think they're the Freak Show bowstrings. But anyway, moving on. This thing is pretty light. The grip feels great. It's a long axle-to-axle bow. It's not heavy. It feels firm. I like this new technology. This is one of the things that intrigued me to buy this. It's the way they built this timing system. And I'm big on ingenuity and new technology. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and try to put this thing together. Here they got where you can separate the strings for your Peep sight, which is great. Let's see what they got. The cams, BBS cams. I guess they got the comfort mods on here. But I did order the 75% let-off mod, so I will be changing these mods out and putting the 75% let-off. It gives me a little bit faster speed. That's what I'm looking for in this longer axle-to-axle. What else am I going to do to this? Just add my accessories and get this thing built. So let's do it. All right, let's get it going. All right, let's see what we got here. We got the rest, the cord is already attached. Let's see, I've never put one of these things together, so it looks like this is the mount. I guess this is the core mount. I guess it mounts to these two screws here, so you'll be able to comfortably mount this to the riser. Everything should line up perfectly. Let's see what we need. Looks like we need some Allen screws. What else comes in this box? All right, they give you an Allen wrench here. Let's see what's in this goodie bag. Dump that out. They give you the shelf sticker to keep your arrows lined up. I guess this is for the cord when you attach it to the limb. These are the screws to mount the core mount to the riser of the bow. So take that apart. These are Allen screws as well, and they give you an Allen wrench. Let's see what we got. This fits. This does not fit that. Let's see if this fits. This does not. So I guess I'll figure out what that Allen wrench is for later. Let's see what I got here in my toolbox. I got some Allen wrenches. See if I got the right size. We got. Right. See if I'm good enough to pick it out on the first try. Yeah, let's try this one. Nope, ain't that good. Next one up. There we go. All right, let's take this thing apart. Okay. Oh, maybe not for that one. Maybe for this one. So I was right. Okay. Oh, there we go. See? Better than I thought I was. Take them all the way out. All right, I pull those out. Didn't have to take them all the way out. I guess these are countersunk, so these are the right bolts. I guess they just fit in there just like that. And then mount them to the bow. All right, I used that one for the small one, so this got to be the right one. Let's see if we can get in there. Tighten this thing down. Start it with my hand. All right, let's get the other one started. All right, let's get it in there. Twist it. Let's do it equally, so nothing to bind up on me. All right, snug it down a little bit, not over tighten it. All right, that feels good. I don't have any torque specs, so there we go. Feels like it's tight to me. 1/3 inch Allen wrench that I use to tighten this bracket down, and this is a 7/64 to unloosen the bracket here to clamp onto the core mount. So I'm going to clamp this on, get this out the way. All right, seems flush. Let's see. Let's get this thing tightened down. I heard this was one of the new designs that improved upon the Epsilon mount. I guess these bolts right here used to be on the inside of the bracket here, and it was difficult to get inside of here to actually tighten this thing down. It's kind of awkward, so I guess they moved. This is one of the upgrades, along with having this right here for your cord. Instead of using that football clamp, this is one that you can just tie your cord into this spring-loaded lever right here. So go ahead and tighten this down. And this makes it much easier to mount. Definitely, I can see that being a big problem in the past for on the other Epsilon. I mean, but if you're not worried about that, I think that mount comes in a little bit cheaper. So there we go. Let's just make sure this is snug. Get it all the way in. Don't want to strip it. All right, there we go. All right, now that we got this Hamskea Epsilon mounted, now I'm going to use my bow square from boning to go ahead and see how to level out my arrow and pick my knocking point so I can put my D-loop on, and we'll go from there. So grab this. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's put it through here. Attach it to the serving. Let's see, I might need to scoot it down a little bit. This thing is not attaching great, but let's see if we can get it right. Okay. Got some levels here, cheap levels that I bought from Amazon. Don't really remember who made them, but I put this little Velcro strip on there just to help secure it because it doesn't fit on all bowstrings. So let's see. Wrap it around. Lock it in. All right, that's nice and tight. I got this bike mount off of Amazon too for mounting my bow. So there's a bow vise. This thing was literally like 40 bucks. This works excellent. I haven't had the need for anything else. Let's see if I can get this thing leveled out. All right, that looks, let's see a little bit more. Too much. See if we can bring it back a little bit. All right, that looks good to me. All right, let's see about leveling the front of this. Bone needs the arrow square. See where it fall on that. If you guys can see that part, looks pretty level. Let's check and see if this is going through the burger button holes. So they tell you to line everything up with the burger button holes as a starting point. So I'm gonna turn this around and let you guys see. These are the burger button holes here. So let's see if they're pretty much lined up. So right now, looking at it, looks good to me. What's good about this Darton bow is they give you the center line here, the center line of the bow. So I can make some adjustments to get this arrow rest. Let me move this down just a touch. You can actually see that the arrow is lined up. And things look perfect. What's good about this Darton bow is that they put a center line here, right here, to get you to line up the arrow directly in the center. Just coming straight out the package, the Hamskea looks already to be set up perfectly. So I'm gonna measure from the riser to the center of the square to see if it's 13/16, just like they recommend. So I'm going to take this 1 inch, start at the 1, and what do we got here? 16/16. So we look perfect here. So right here, it looks like this thing is already pretty much set up to where it needs to be. So shout out to Hamskea for sending Hamskea Epsilon already pretty much set up the way it needs to go. So right now, let's check our level again. I'm gonna move this back around, get it in position where I can work on it, excuse me. Let's see, that bow is still pretty much level. Let me get it back. All right, there we go. The arrow, pretty much level. Let's see if we can probably adjust it down just a little. And there it goes, right in the center, pretty much where we need to be. All right, so I'm gonna take my silver Sharpie that I have. Silver Sharpie gets you about 2 of these right here. It's gold. So I'm not gonna actually mark the center line. I'm gonna go up probably 1/8 of an inch because I'm shooting 5mm arrows. So I may want to go to a .246 to a standard arrow. So I'm gonna mark the knocking point up just probably like an eighth of an inch, just to make sure I got enough room if I want to change the arrows back out to the standard size. So right now I got my knocking point set. I'll go ahead and remove these. Things seem to be lined up, so I'll go ahead and start there. All right, so I'm gonna get some D-loop material and some serving and get this thing going. All right, I ordered some of that Magi braid that Joe Turner had been talking about. This is a new thing, a new way to tie knots, and this is the Magi braid that I ordered from Podium Archery. I tried to find it at Bass Pro Shop, the 80-pound Magi braid fishing line, which is 80 pounds. Dacron is the material, so I ordered that, and I got some 23 BCY D-loop material that was recommended also by Joe Turner. All right, here we go. So this right here, ordered that from Podium Archery also. Get my scissors, get this stuff out the way here. So let me see, we're gonna turn this bow over this way. I got my silver Sharpie mark here. So I'm going to try this knot. I've never tried before. It's called a double constrictor knot. I've been watching videos and hopefully I can get this right the first time. I'm going to cut off, I don't want to cut off too much material, but I'm going to cut off enough. That should be great right there. So let's see what we're going to do. All right, from what I understand is that you take the material and then you make an X. Can you get a closer shot? Or you're making, here we go, I'm doing it wrong. I make an X over the material here. Then you make another loop, a double loop here. And then you come around and you put it back through the two here. That's one. Let's see if I can get it through the other one. Come on. Get this. All right, get it through. That through there. Then I said to loop it around, go under, and then go through. Man, this is giving me a rough time here. All right, let's try that. Truthfully, I think that might be it. Scoot it up some to the knocking point. Can you see it's pretty flat here? That's how it's supposed to come out. Let's tighten that up. Truthfully, let me grab some pliers. Tighten it down a little bit. All right, that nice and tight. That there. All right. Cut off the ends there. Cut it off there. And I'm gonna burn the ends. All right, let's be careful not to. Not to get the fire on there. Tap it down. Try to just get close enough to melt it. All right. There we go. We got our knocking point. All right. So now I'm going to put the D loop on there. Grab an arrow. See what we got. Got one right here. In there. Set the knock in there. All right, that feels good. All right, so now we're going to tie a D loop. So they say use about 4.5 to 5 inches of D loop material. Like I said, this is 23 PCY 23. Let's see. Get my tape measure out. I want to measure out about 4.5. Set that there. We got 2, 3. That's about 4.5. I'll probably just go to 5 right here. I'll cut off whatever. All right, get my scissors. Cut that off. All right, Joe Turner said to just, you don't have to fray it out, just burn the end, melt it down a little bit just to get the little button going. Burned it down, burnt down pretty good, got a nice little knot on the end of it. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. First I'm gonna fold it over like this, then put it up against the string. Go from the opposite side because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to put the knot on the opposite side of me, facing me, pull it through, grab this side, and also pull it through like such. So you kind of want it to look like that. All right, I'm going to pull this one string and tighten it down, tighten it down, tighten it down, tighten it down. Close. All right. Now they say you want to have at least a serving of space. So you want a little bit of play, not too much, but just a little bit. So I think that's pretty good right there. I'll go ahead and grab my pliers. Here we go. Snug this side down just a little bit. Just to get it a little snug. See what we got. Still got some play there. That's still good movement. All right. Go ahead. Do the other side. Bring it over. Bring it under. And there we go. So tighten that down a little bit. All right, move this out the way. Set it to the side. So go ahead, I'm gonna just tighten it down just a little, not too much. All right, got the string tight. All right, take my D-loop pliers. See if I can get them up in there. In there, spread it out just a little bit, not too much. But get me started there. I don't want to make it too tight. So, started there. Go ahead and cut some of this off. All right. Leave about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And because you don't have to flare this up, just go ahead and burn it down. Flatten it up. All right, and we should be good. So let's tie it in a D-loop. All right, let's recheck the play in it. Knock, and it's moving. Plenty of play right there. All right, I'll pull this out. Let's just see how it fits the actual serving. So it's a little bit tight there. It's not moving the strings. I think I can work with that. So that seems pretty good. All right, there we go. All right, now that we put the D-loop on and got everything set up, I usually put the bow on the drawboard overnight and let the string stretch and settle in just a little bit before I start shooting it to get the strings to really settle in. So I'm gonna clear this table off and get the drawboard set up and put the bow on the drawboard and go ahead and let the strings get stretched out overnight. All right, I've been letting this bow sit for like approximately 2 days, letting the string stretch out. Had a rough night last night. That brings me to this safety tip. Don't ever mix Brussels sprouts and salad together in the same meal, let alone the same day. Just take my advice. Let's see what we got here. So it's been stretching for 2 days. One thing that I did notice that I didn't put on camera was the actual timing. So when I first put the bow on the drawboard, the actual bottom cam stop was hitting before the top cam stop was, probably by 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch. But after letting it sit for a couple of days, this cam has actually caught up and actually touching the string just like the bottom cam is. So that just proves right there that you should allow your bow, the strings on your bow, to stretch out maybe a day. I don't necessarily mean it have to be 2 days, but maybe a day. But after I came back and checked, now they're both touching. So that shows that the strings did stretch. Another thing I wanted to point out was we talked about Joe Turner's knock. Let's see what we got here. Let's pull it out. But as you can see right here, if you come in, this actually is square with the bow. So that was the whole purpose of this setup here with the Magi braid, 80-pound fishing line, and a 23 BCY 23 D-loop material, was to with the one knocking point at the bottom, no knocking point at the top. It was to straighten this angle out, because when I had a knocking point at the top and the bottom, this section was a little bit angled off. So now it's completely straight and parallel with the bow. So that makes for a better shot. So that shows, so that's proven. MFJJ approved that, and I'm just showing it again. But now I can go ahead and let this bow down. So with the string stretched, I'm just going to probably do all my modifications, check the axle to axle length, check the weight of the bow, and go ahead and get to building this thing up even more. All right, while I'm at it, I can go ahead and check the weight of the bow. All right, in the manual, it specifies that this bow weighs approximately 4.775 pounds, 4 pounds and 3/4, 4 3/4 pounds. Turn this on. Scale. Scale is set to 0 at this time. Let me tear it out again, just to tear it. You can see it's set to 0. So I'm gonna go ahead and see what the weight actually is. All right. So on my scale, not sure how accurate this scale is, but it's showing me 5.25, 5 1/4, but it does have this weight on here, and it does have the Hemsky rest. So if you take away those two things, I'm pretty sure that it's coming in at the exact weight that it said. So I forgot that I put that rest on, but we can subtract that weight, and I'm pretty sure it falls into specs. So there we go. All right, turn that off. Set that down. Let me see, we're going to check the actual axle to axle length. So that being said, it says that the axle to axle length is 35 1/8 inches. So from here to here I will be measuring. So I'll go ahead and line this up with the one. Here, let's get it centered. And here, it said 35 1/8. So actually, this axle is showing 35 1/4, maybe. You want to zoom in on this? Let's make sure I got it in the right spot, center here and center there. So we're looking at 35 1/4. So just off by like 1/8 of an inch, but we can fix that. We'll just tighten up the strings a little bit and get it back into spec. Tighten up the cables, I mean. Get it back into spec. As far as that goes, let's see what else we got here. They said that the brace height will be 6.3 inches. So let's check the brace height from here to the string. All right, that's roughly, I would say 6.3. So we'll go with that. Close enough anyway. All right, so right now I'm just going to, because I let the string stretch, my draw length isn't set on here. Actually, my draw length is, for this bow, would be like approximately 30 inches. And then on this sheet here, the spec says to achieve 30 inches, you need to set the modules to the number 5. As you can see on here, the module is not on number 5, it's actually on number 6. So that would make this bow 31 inches at this time. So I'm going to have to do some adjusting on here. So while I'm going to adjust my draw length, I might as well change out the comfort mods, and I want to put on the actual 75% mods for the highest speed rating, which the highest speed rating for the 75% mods is 340 feet per second. Right now in comfort mode, at the standard module, it's only 331 feet per second. So I'm going to bump it up, putting those new mods on. Then I'll go ahead and set my draw length adjustment to 5, set the modules to 5, and then go ahead and continue with the building the bow. All right, I'm back. I got the table all cleared off. Got the bow press set up. Got my little bike mount stand set up for my bow vise. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to set up the 75% mods. I'll put those on there. In this book from Darton Archery, they said to back the limb bolts off four full turns before putting this thing inside of a bow press. So I'm gonna go ahead and back those off 4 turns on both sides, and then I'm gonna, as a special extra precaution, I'm going to loosen up the actual limb locks. So limb locking nuts too, just to be safe so I don't mess this bow up. So I'm going to take this 3/16 Allen wrench here. I'm going to back this off 4 turns. So righty tighty, lefty loosey. So it's 1, 2, 3, that's 4 there. While I'm here, I'm going to take this 5/32 Allen wrench and loosen up this limb locking bolt, which is right here. So that's a limb locking bolt, and up top here is the actual limb bolt to adjust like your draw length and all. I mean, not the draw length, but the poundage of the bow. So go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna flip it around and do the other side the same way. So we're gonna back this off 4 turns. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm also gonna loosen this limb locking bolt here. Just loosen it up. There we go. All right. So now you can go ahead and put this thing inside of the bow press. Take it out. Get this all set up. Okay, we got it in there. All right, so go ahead and loosen up these cables here to go ahead and take these take these mods up and get them replaced. As you can see on these mods, it tells you the right hand bottom. It says 75% let off here, speed mod. This one says right hand top, 75% speed mod. I'm not saying that it's idiot proof, but we're going to try our best not to make any mistakes. It's my first time doing this, so we'll do this together. All right. I think that might be enough there. Go ahead. Get a little bit more slack. All right. Remove this cable here. Just gonna probably just tuck it here so it doesn't move on me. Keep it straight. All right, the mod seems to be free. Everything's free. So now I'm going to take the 7/64 Allen wrench and I'm going to remove module on the top. Loosen them all up first. So So it's 3 screws on the back side of here that holds this module in. So make sure you're using a really good Allen wrench, and it's really good Allen wrench. Try to get a new one if you can, so you don't strip these little screws out. They're really small, if you can see how small they are. So it doesn't take a lot of torque or twist to mess those things up. So here we're going to take that out. Here. Right. Take this one out as well. Grab onto the mod so it doesn't fall. Let's see. Got that. Oops, drop one. That's typical. You're gonna drop stuff. So now able to get the mod out. There you go. Side of there. Found a screw. Alright, let's see, these bolts do come with some Loctite on there, so you can put it back safely and secure. So what, this is the right top. So let's make sure we do the right hand top here, right hand top there. So I'm just going to place this back in the same way I took it out. If you can zoom in over here, my draw length is set to number 5, which would put me at 30 inches. So this is where I want to sit this actual pin. Let me pull this back off and show you. There's a pin right here that actually goes into the slot here for number 5. And that'll be the draw length for 30 inches. All right, so let me put that on. Ahead. Let's see if we can find that hole. More. A little bit difficult. Oh, I see what the problem is. The problem is I'm gonna have to take this out as well. So I'm gonna have to take the draw stop off as well before I can do that, because it's still set on 6. So let's see what size Allen wrench I'm going to use for that. All right, that looks like a, what is this? 5/32. No, it's actually a 3/32 Allen wrench. So put that in there. Take this off. So take the draw stop off. So truthfully, my draw length isn't exactly 30 inches. It's pretty much 29 3/4. So I am going to change out the actual draw stop on here. They have a bigger size. So while I'm doing this, I might as well change it out now. And it says if you put the bigger draw stop on there, that it will reduce the let off by 1/8 of an inch. So I think I will probably fall within my specifications or be comfortable with shooting it with just a smaller 1/8 of an inch draw length. So that shortens the draw length from 30 and then by 1/8. So we'll go ahead and stick this in 5 now. I got it here. See if we can get it. Oops, here we go, dropping stuff. That's to be expected with this little stuff we working with. See if we can get it. Right, I'm not gonna torque too tight. Like I said, the boats are really small, so let's make sure we get a little bit of torque on it. Not a whole lot. All right, so now you can see there's the bigger jaw stop from this one. So these are significantly different sizes here. So you can see why it reduces the let off right there. So let's get back to installing the actual module to where it needs to go, which is set that draw stop on 5. I got to put this module on 5. All right, so got it on 5. All right. Now with the holes that are available for me to screw this back in, that's what I'm going to do. So over here you find the holes that line up, and you go ahead, screw them in. Just going to start it. Not going to tighten it down all the way until I get all of them in. Right. Here. Start it. Right. Last one. All right, now I can go ahead and snug them down a little bit. Said not too much. These boats are really small, so be careful not to over tighten them. All right, as you can see, I put my speed mods on. Like I said, I didn't have to actually loosen the cable up or put it in the bow vise. I don't know why I did that, but we all make mistakes. So truthfully, you can just pull this mod off while it's sitting here with the 3 screws on the back. Make sure that you put it where your correct draw length is. So if your draw length, just say mine was set to 5 for 30 inches, make sure you just put your speed mod, that peg, inside the mark for the number 5. Here, they have to match top and bottom. And also make sure that you tighten up your limb bolts back to where you had them, and also the limb locking bolt. Don't forget to tighten those back up. So that's a safety precaution. But right now I noticed that on this bow, they have the mark for the timing. Like after doing all that string stretching, changing out the mods, changing out the draw stops, that I see that the timing mark for the hunting, it should be in between both of these lines. I can see that it's off a little bit. So I'm going to try to use their perfect timing system, bow timing system, to see if I can get those things aligned like they should be. So for this one, I think we're going to have to take a loosen up the cable here, give it some twist to tighten it up until we see that that mark is in the center as well down here. If you look, let's see, this one is closer to the center mark, but it still needs just a little bit of adjustment. So a lot of the videos I've seen, they really didn't have to make any adjustments to it. I don't know if that's a big thing, but I'm going to go ahead and test it out and see what happens. So while it's in there, I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up with a 3/32 Allen key here. So I'm going to take that up loose. Saying you got to take it all the way out or nothing, but just make sure you get it loose enough to be able to turn the turnbuckle. So I'm going to do that. My string twists seem to be rotating this way, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it one full turn. See where we are on this end. All right. So I'm gonna turn it again. We're getting closer. Turn it again. See where we are on that. All right, so we're getting even closer. Let me give it one more time. Turn it. You can actually turn this by hand. One more turn. Let's see where we're sitting at here. And that looks pretty good to me. So I'll leave it there. I guess it all depends on what type of angle you're hitting, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this side back down. To where it was. Like I said, these are really small screws, so don't overdo it. Now, this side, let's see what we're looking like. So this side is still pretty off if you look at that there. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this one up and give it a few turns. All right, so the string rotation this way. I'm gonna turn it. This one, two turns. Let's see what we got with 2 turns. 2 turns. Getting a little closer. String turning this way. Give it another couple of turns. Let's see what we get right there. All right, it's getting a little closer as you can see. And give it a couple more turns. Let's see where we are. I think I'm gonna do one more turn, but you can see where it moved. You can see both lines on either side. I might just give it just a little, one more turn, half a turn. There we go. And that looks pretty good to me. So you can see both the lines on either side of the string. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it down. So that's what's great about this Darton bow, is that you don't have to use a bow press for any of this. And I just proved it by making a mistake, but hey, like I said, it's trial and error. Tighten that down. Don't strip it out. Like I said, try to keep you some fresh Allen wrenches. Or just make sure they're in good shape when you're using them. So pretty much that's where it needs to be. While we have it up, let's go ahead and check the draw length again. And I said that draw length should have been approximately 35 1/8 of an inch. So if I go from axle to axle here, let's get it there, start 1. And truthfully, it's dead on right now. So it is dead on. So I'm happy with that. And yeah, so we're looking great. So there we go. Changed out the mods. We did some extra work we didn't need to do. We used the perfect timing. Got everything lined up for hunting. This bow is set up for hunting, so that's why I put it on the H. The T actually represents for target use. So, but I'm gonna be hunting with this bow, so I put it on the H like they said. The strings are in between the timing marks. This system works excellent. You didn't need a bow press or anything, so it proves right there how great this system is. Everything looks good. We got our D-loop tied in, got our hamski on. The next thing I would do is go ahead and finish hooking up this hamski rest so I can go ahead and shoot this thing through paper and get it paper tuned. And I'm going to change out this cord to red, so I'm going to use some BCY24. Change this out to red just to kind of give it some aesthetics. But go ahead and do that and hook this thing up. One thing that I am going to use though is this leather material that I ordered from Amazon. I'm going to cut a piece of this off and put it on the limb instead of using what I got from Hamski, because this is pretty soft, so put indentions in so it'll hold that string really, really well. So I'm going to put it on this limb here, but I'm going to wrap it all the way around, make sure it wraps the whole limb. tie this cord down after I stretch it out with the new D-loop material, and move this close to the limb as possible for vibration problems. And then I'll tie it in the same way I tie in a D-loop on one side, and then put this material on there. And I also may even put some of this material on my shelf right here just to quiet things down. Or I may use what Hamsky sent as far as like that little guide, a little arrow holder or rest right there on the end. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet with that, but I'm definitely going to use this material right here. So it's called Crown. So if you want to look it up, it's a part number there or whatever if you want to go on Amazon and check that out. But it's great for like fixing leather. If you got an old car with torn leather, you can use this stuff or use it for whatever. Like I put some on my drawer board here on this peg. It's really quiet. It does the job. So just another product for you guys to check into. But I'm not getting any money for promoting any of this stuff. I bought all this stuff with my own money. I don't have any sponsors. Like I said, it's my first YouTube video, and hopefully you're enjoying yourself so far. But yeah, I'll be right back. I did take the bow outside and shoot it a few times, maybe like 30 times with an arrow, just to go ahead and make sure the strings are truly set in. So at this time, I'm just going to pull it back and install my Peep. You can actually install your Peep while the bow is in the draw board, because the actual strings don't have any tension, and they don't have much tension anyway. You can actually install it, but the cables have all the tension. So right at this time, I'm going to use my previous bow to measure where my Peep sight is on here, and then do the same thing on there and mark the string so that I can insert the Peep. So right now, my bow, I'm measuring from the top of the knocking point to the center of the Peep, and I'm getting 5 3/8 inches. All right, so here, take my silver Sharpie here. I'm going to mark this out. I'm going to take this from the top of the knocking point there, and if I could do it, get it steady, I'm going to measure out 5 3/8, which is approximately right there. All right, so good starting point on setting the Peep in. So got that marked, should match up. So got this thing, let me turn it on. Just want to make sure I check the poundage again. Here we go, turn that on, zero it out. All right, let me hold this up here. So right now we're looking at like 76.45. Okay, let's make sure we check these timing marks again so we can look and see. All right, you see the timing marks are coming up here. I mean, where the jaw stops are. So if you pay attention, let's see if this thing is actually in time. So they're closer. So let's see if they hit at the same time. One click, boom. You see, they're hitting at the exact same time. You see that? I'm just going to click it one more, and they're both set. So we're perfect timing on this. So like I said, the cable's got all the poundage on it right now, so this is pretty loose down here. So they separate the strings with this piece of material so you can get the center of the actual string, which is a great idea. So most string companies do that. So this time I'm using the Hamsky Raptor Peep. So let's see what this thing is set to. All right. So I bought the 3/16 Peep sight. So 3/16 Raptor Peep. See what the instructions say. All right. Inside of here is a chart they give you. And it says at the top that the bow length and axle to axle. So the axle to axle on this is 35 1/8 inches. My actual draw length for this bow is 30. So if I pan over, So it says that I should set this to 40 degrees. So this Peep sight needs to be set to 40 degrees. All right, they have 2 marks here, that indentions, and this indicates that this is the 40-degree angle here that you want to use. The 35-degree angle here has no hash marks. So if you were to take a look at this chart, get a up-close visual, and you can kind of see what it's saying and how you pick what degree angle you would like to use on there. So at this time, I'm going to install the Peep. Make sure we got it right. Separate the string, orient it where I want it. Got it installed. Double check with the marks. All right, we got the 40-degree mark there. All right, so what I do, instead of taking this out, I like to cut another little piece out of some actual serving material here. I'll just cut a little piece because I want to be able to keep the center of the string. Cut a piece there, and I'll actually stick it in there just in case. I'll run it up, string, all the way to the top. I'll cut some of the extra material off. About that much, and then I like to take it and burn the ends just a little bit. All right, so we got that installed. So right now this is just installed temporarily. So go ahead and let this down, and then I'll go ahead and tie in the Peep for the temporary tie. All right, so the Peep is not straight, but go ahead and give the cable a couple of twists just to make sure it's straight now. But for right now, I'm gonna just make sure that we got everything where it needs to be. So I'm gonna get some serving here. Let's see if that's about enough. A couple of feet. Probably didn't need this much, but I'm also going to use some beeswax, 100%. Oh, beeswax. So 100% pure beeswax. This was suggested by MFJJ to put this on his strings. I guess it makes them tight a little bit. A little bit tighter, the string a little bit tighter by using this. So I'm not tying it in permanently, but just use a little bit here. So what I'm going to do, let's take the string here. I'm going to wrap it around, and we'll just do a single knot over the top. Get that tied in. And I'm going to do a double square knot on the bottom. So. Oops. Two. All right. Tie that in right there, and I'm gonna just tie it in with another square knot on the top for now. Open it. All right, another single knot, just to hold it in place. Tighten that down. Cut it about 1/4 of an inch. Not even that much, but make sure I tie it down good enough. All right. Like I said, this is just temporary for right now until I get everything sighted in. Then I'll go ahead and tie it in the whole way. But we just got to tie it in for right now. So that's me installing the Peep. So definitely gonna have to make some cable adjustments, but we'll go ahead from there. All right, here's the Garmin A1i Pro bow sight that I said I was gonna put on in this new 2025 build. So let's get to unboxing it. Let's see what we got here. All right, here, the manual. This out the way. We have the actual sight. It package it up pretty well, keep it pretty safe. These things are pretty expensive. I think this is like a little over $1,400. It actually costs more than the actual bow, so I'm just willing to try it because, like I said, I'm big on ingenuity and technology. So I just want to try it, kind of simplify things for me. The sight, you don't have to have a sight tape. You can put multiple arrow sizes and weights in here. Like you just, with the push of a button, you can actually just zoom in on your target, and it gives you the exact yardage to shoot your prey, whether it's deer, whatever you're hunting for. So I'm just willing to try it out and see how I like it, and go from there. So this thing has micro adjustability. It's pretty light. It looks really bulky, but it's actually not that heavy at all. So what comes in here? There's another little box here. All right, looks like it has a little bag. They give you batteries. Look like 2 AAA batteries. You get a cord. I'm thinking this may be for the trigger. Pitch screws. Like 3 Allen wrenches in there. Let's see what this is. Okay, this is the actual button itself. And right here, I think this is the tape that they give you to be able to take the trigger button onto the riser of the bow. So I think that's all that's in here. So out the way. Alright, so like I said, you have micro adjustability on here. You have the windage here. This looks like another windage adjustment here. To actually get the angle right because it's kind of curved. Let's see, we have elevation adjustment here. And we also have another angle adjustment here to get everything done and sighted in. It also has an integrated bubble level here. So I guess when we put it on the bow, we can actually get our second axis adjustment going, first and second axis adjustment going. So here on my bow, I already had it in the vise set up. As you can see, I'm using this level here that I got from Amazon. It's already pretty much level from the side. So, all right, so it looks like you're gonna have to take this mount off first in order to get the screws to go in. You can see these are countersunk screws. Go into this hole here and this hole. So you actually have to take it off the bracket to mount it. So now it gives me enough screw there to go ahead and mount this thing correctly. So I'm gonna put it in the hole that's closest to the riser, like I said. So put it in this one here. Not going to tighten it down all the way. Grab the other screw. Get it lined up. All right. Go ahead and tighten them down. Get them snug. Too much. Alright, that should do it. Alright, so now I'm going to place this back into the frame. And I'm going to get it to the mark that's closest, as further as I can get, close as I can get to the riser. I'm going to take this screw here, tighten it up with the Allen wrench they provided. Not sure exactly what size this is. All right, let's make sure. Seems pretty tight. Let's go torque it just a little. All right. So, as you can see, this level here, and if you step around, you gotta step around. And you can see that this level is also level, so the first and second axles are level. So this bow, the sight is pretty much set up for the first and second axis. I would have to shoot in a third axis, but for right now, this is what we have. So everything's matching up. So I'll go ahead and remove this. Got that going. And I said I was going to take my stabilizers from my other bow, last year's bow, and mount them on here. So I'll go ahead and take this and go ahead and get this thing mounted down. So this, like I said, this is an XL Trophy Ridge, XL Tri-Lock Hunter. And I'm just going to mount this as a back bar. Alright. I'm using a 1/4 Allen wrench. I'm just going to tighten it down. Alright, got that mounted. Take the back bar off my Hoyt. Here, I'm going to change out the quick disconnect there and put the actual disconnect that goes with this side. With this stabilizer mount. Make sure I'm putting it on the right way. Screw that in there. This mounted. Alright. Loosen this bolt here on the bottom. And probably start about maybe, with the weight of that sight, it's not really that heavy, but I'll kick it out to here. And that's where we'll start until we get everything balanced. Alright. So here I have a wrist strap that I do. I like to use wrist straps. This gives me that sense of security. So I will be mounting the wrist strap onto the front of this bow. So let's take this off. This wrist strap is made by Jacked Gear here. Like I said, I'm not being sponsored by any of these companies. This is just product that I purchased on my own. This is what I wanted to set up for this year. So that's what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and go to the front. May have to take this out of the vise to get that on. So pull off the bow vise. Get access to the front hole. Alright. And I'm going to install the front bar mount. Front bar quick connect. See if we can get it started. Lay this down for a second. Alright. That's going. That installed in there. Go ahead and get it screwed down. Get it lined up. Tighten it down. Alright, tighten this down. Well, take my front part. Oh. Change out the quick disconnect. one on. In there. All right, just put the strap on. Here. I think they pulled it back through some kind of way. Tucked it in, pulled it back through. All right, this is my 2025 hunting bow build for this hunting season. So here, we got the Darton Sequel 35 ST2, as you can see. Then we got the Hamskea Epsilon V2 Arrow Rest. We got the Garmin A1i Pro. And we have the Antler Ridge XL stabilizers. And this is my 2025 hunting bow. And the Hamskea Raptor Peep. Thank you guys for tuning in. And press subscribe and press like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you.